So this whole situation makes my blood boil. So today we'll be reacting to D'Angelo Wallace video about Cody Co and the whole situation and the whole drama that has blew out for the past X many days.
Alright Cody, let's have an uncomfortable conversation. Someone has been alleging for years now that you, one of the largest commentary creators on YouTube, knowingly committed a crime against her when she was a minor, but YouTubers and viewers alike are ignoring and discrediting these allegations solely because the person making them happens to be an unlikable woman online, Tana. And you know that people are ignoring this because nobody is working harder to bury the story than you. And you're
So that's the first issue. People are not siding with Tana because they dislike her. So this is the common issue that we see, because they like Cody more, they're either taking his side or they're kind of blaming Tana because she's that unlikable character. So I would like to just straight away to strip that personality. Let's pretend it's not Tana and kind of have an actual view of what is actually happening here and what is going on, regardless of who this person is or who it happened to, and kind of stick just to the facts.
You're getting away with it because commentary YouTube has a serious problem. I can't blame any of your viewers or my viewers for not hearing about this because you've done such a good job hiding it up until now that I only found out about it recently. The situation has been talked about by smaller channels, it's been discussed at length on other platforms, and it keeps almost hitting the mainstream, like with this Rolling Stone article or this H3 podcast discussion. But the reason it hasn't caught on yet despite all of this is that none of your friends, nobody on your level, nobody in the commentary niche with enough pull is willing to admit that this situation makes you look terrible.
A lot of people like him a lot, and they really are like doing any kind of mental gymnastic to just ignore it.
I'm not here to accuse you of
So again, some of the smallest channels have covered the situation. For example, I'm covering it now. Is it gonna get the heard? Is it gonna get the massive attention? Probably not, because we don't have a big following. But the funny thing is, the big channels until D'Angelo haven't covered it or haven't shared their opinion, and this was very frustrating. I would hope so that other people that have either worked or close to Cody would say something instead of staying quiet, because I mean, we all know if you're quiet and you're not sharing your stance or a certain situation, silence speaks a lot. Silence is very loud and you're basically in support instead of not
committing a crime in this video because I can't do that based on someone else's allegations. Nobody can definitively take these allegations as proof, but at the same time, they should still be looked at and not treated as an open secret and swept under the rug like you've been doing for so many years now. And from the way the situation keeps popping up more and more often, it's clear that there's only so much rug sweeping you can do before people start taking a closer look at things. So let's take a closer look. We both know that Tana is a YouTube personality with a history of lies, controversy, and genuinely problematic behavior that's become so entangled with her brand that her podcast is called Cancelled with Tana. And speaking of this podcast, about a month ago, she hosted a live episode in front of an audience, and the conversation turned to you.
Who's the smallest you've ever had sex with?
Oh my God, no one look at me, Cody Co. I can say that, I was literally 17, I can say that.
This clip started making the rounds and people were understandably perturbed because if Tana was 17, you would have been 25. So people started speculating and Tana decided to set the record straight.
So let me just also say, these sorts of videos been around for years. It's just kind of, it didn't gain a lot of attention, so that's why it's kind of been hush hush. But it didn't just happen now, or Tana didn't just say it recently. She said and mentioned this situation on a lot of occasions. Why hasn't it been brought up earlier? You tell me.
Hooked up with Cody Co when I was 17 and he was 25.
She claims that not only were you fully aware of her age at the time, but someone even tried to stop you and you went ahead anyway.
There was a situation with Gabby Hanna at a Playlist Live where she pulled him aside and told him like, yo, she's 17, and then we still went and hooked up.
To be clear, 17 is under the age.
So, Gabby Hanna, out of all the people, Gabby Hanna seems to be the voice of reason in this situation, Gabby Hanna was present that evening or that night with Tana and other people who were there, including Cody. She actually, on several occasions, came up to Cody as she saw them kind of conversing and speaking. She came up to Cody and said, just by the way, just to let you know, she's underage and she's 17. So he was like, yeah. Again, later the evening, she came up and said, listen, she's 17. And Cody decided to take the information, throw it out, because he set the target and he went for it. Let's keep on watching.
Age of consent in many states, including Florida, where Playlist Live used to take place. So this means that Tana Mongeau is accusing you of statutory rape, and she's not trying to hide that.
This isn't just some crazy tea. It was a crime.
Nothing would make this situation better, but plenty of things make it worse, like the fact that she was a fan of yours at the time, adding an additional layer to the power dynamic you would have had over her.
I grew up loving him, and I think you know what I mean? Like, I was just like excited and a fan.
Tana seems to have many feelings about this, which we'll go over a bit later, but she stated very clearly that the actions she's accusing you of are inexcusable.
If I had a 17-year-old daughter or a little sister or something, like, I would kill.
I would never let it fly.
So that's the thing. People are hating, oh, it's Tana, or she made it happen, she agreed to it, or but it was her idea. It doesn't matter whether it was Tana or someone else. She was underage in Florida. The age of consent is 18. She was underage. Also, the people who say, oh, you know, it doesn't matter. Until it's you, until it's someone close to you or a family member, or God forbid your child, only then the people stand up and have an issue. No, it shouldn't work like this. He was 25, okay? He can't say, oh, what's the excuse that people like in this type of situations always use? Oh, I didn't know. You knew. Several times you've been told that she's underage and she's 17. So you full well knew, and you still went ahead and done the deed that same night. So you chose to ignore. So that's exactly why I think he's being quiet, because he cannot say that generated, you know, statement, I didn't know, or she looked older. You were 25, and you can't say, oh, you know, I was young. When we're young, we do stupid things. No, 25. You were 25. You are a grown ass man. At the age of 25, I had a child and I had a house and a job. What? It doesn't matter if she begged for it. It doesn't matter. She was 17. And to make it all worse, she was a fan. Not only was she could have been easily manipulated by at that age. Everyone knows when we're older, it's so easy for us to manipulate someone younger. The younger generation, or at the age, certain age, they kind of think they know it all, they live life, and it's funny to us because we've been through it, we've grown up now, and it's so easy for us to kind of influence or intimidate or whatever you want to call it, right? But he probably didn't need to do that because she was also a fan. So it was his responsibility as an adult to take control of the situation and not even put himself in such situation, full stop.
Allegations are bad enough on their own, but there are a couple of things that make them worse still. Things that many people don't know yet, but you do. You know that Tana has been making the same specific claim against you for years now. Here she is back in 2021 saying the same thing.
I was 17 at the time, 18. I started kind of hooking up with other people. Shout out JC Kalen, shout out Cody Co.
But what lends the most credibility to Tana's claims, and what is really the most damning thing for you, Cody, is a clip that you might not have even seen yet. See, I read the Rolling Stone article, I watched the YouTube videos about this, and they all missed something. And I understand why. The clip I'm about to show you is extremely hard to find. The original has been lost to time, and it's a wonder we have this on video at all. But if there was anything to give me any more clarity about these allegations before I formed my opinion, I was going to find it. Remember how Tana said that fellow YouTuber Gabby Hanna tried to stop you before everything allegedly went down? Well, did you know that Gabby is actually on record telling the exact same story several years ago?
One time?
So this video is about quality because it was many of the other YouTubers used this video, but it was so hard to find, and that's so the quality is a bit crap. But no matter what you say, or innocent until proven guilty, the thing is, we have one side that's saying that this has happened. We have a witness, which you will about to see now. We have an actual witness to the situation, or knows about the situation, that was present right there and then. And we have the third party, Cody, who hasn't commented anything. So when you have an actual person and a witness, it's a bit hard not to believe unless you're gonna speak out. But like I said, what is he gonna say? I didn't know.
I told a guy, I saw him making out with a girl at a party who was underage, and I pulled him aside and I was like, hey man, you probably don't know, I know she like looks a little older, she's underage, watch it. And he's like, oh my god, thank you for telling me. And then he turned that.
This is really bad. People make accusations all the time, specifically regarding things that are very difficult to prove or disprove, unfortunate as that may be. But when somebody makes an allegation and they say they have a witness, and that witness can be found telling the exact same story years before any of this came out, that's not something I can just ignore. In a situation that cannot be proven, corroboration by a third party goes a long way. And frankly, Cody, the allegations against you seem to have been corroborated. But instead of researching to find these answers like I did, many of your fans seem far more interested in attacking your accuser.
I have seen so many comments, but what was she wearing? It's Tana, so who cares? Well, it's Tana Mojo.
The reaction to this has been unsurprising but incredibly disappointing, demanding proof that they know she can't provide, acting like she's only doing this to gain clout or ruin you somehow, despite the fact that she's never once put your name in a video title over this. Or worst of all, implying that a 17-year-old could have truly consented to any of this. But let's be clear about one thing. That is not the case. No amount of retroactive age calculations or what-if scenarios change the fact that what Tana described would be, objectively speaking, a crime. A crime which you've said absolutely nothing about. And even if this wasn't illegal, you remember being 25. You would have known then, as I currently know at age 25, that nobody this age should need an explanation for why a 17-year-old is off limits. Because you remember being 17 too. Now, thankfully, Tana's personal experience with...
But this is, this is what we're used to hearing. People who say, oh, she's 17 or she was nearly 18. Also, the people say, well, she's 16, she was nearly 18, or how far does this line pushes? Or she's 14, well, she's nearly 16. Some states say 16 is legal, or she's nearly... Stop. This type of people shouldn't be in society. This type of people is the reason why this world is in a mess, literally contributing to it. Are you kidding me? That is shocking.
This isn't one of trauma. In fact, I've seen people defending you by saying, Tana said she doesn't care, so why should any of us care? But that's not exactly what she was saying.
I don't associate or hold it with trauma because I am such a comparative person where I'm like, so many worse things have happened to me.
And even if something isn't consciously internalized as an identifiable source of trauma, the body keeps the score.
I know things manifest in ways other than me directly feeling them. Like maybe I don't feel traumatized in certain aspects from certain things, and other...
She might be not understanding the effect of the whole situation yet, which happens to certain people. Maybe in the future, maybe when she has her kids, it's gonna hit her like a ton of bricks, and then the whole realization, and she might get trauma then, or she might get anxiety or certain issues then. But it still might happen. Just because she's not experiencing now, it doesn't mean they will never happen. Also, let me just say, this is a massive show of Cody's character. These situations just show the way people truly are. It shows his character. It shows his lack of morals or his moral compass. It just says a lot about the person and the way they is, or how they push boundaries, or what is important or what is not to them. It just tells a lot about the person. Simple.
Other things I do. But, you know, maybe they just manifest in ways other than directly feeling.
The answer to why any of us should care is that a person has tried to come forward about her experience and has been met with the most vitriolic victim blaming I've seen in years. She's been dismissed, discredited, and disbelieved before anybody ever gave her a chance. Because it's Tana, which sets a horrible precedent that if a person runs out of goodwill, they lose the right to come forward with their experiences.
The most traumatizing thing of all of this really was seeing how many people like don't believe people or don't believe me. I feel so bad for all of these young girls because then they see that and then it makes them not want to come forward.
And you, Cody, are part of the reason she's been met with this reaction. Your status as one of YouTube's golden boys has made it possible for you to ignore a situation that almost anyone else would have had to respond to by now.
I know for a fact.
Just because you like, let me just say something. I know of Cody and I watched so many of his videos. I'm not a subscriber, but like I said, I know of him. He comes up as a very likable person, so I understand why people like him. But you have to distinguish between liking someone and someone doing something wrong, legally wrong, morally wrong. And if you're still supporting that person, you are part of the problem.
If you swapped out Cody Co with someone that like people didn't like that much, I would be receiving so much more sympathy.
I find your silence on the situation to be uncomfortable because I know that if Tana's allegations are true, then silence would be your only option, since telling the truth would be tantamount to confessing to a crime, and lying would put you at risk of being contradicted by a witness. And like I told you at the beginning, I'm not accusing you of committing a crime, but even if what Tana says is false, your silence is still grossly incompetent at best. Why?
And silence is very loud. And like I said, usually in this situation, people will try to say something stupid like, I didn't know how old she was. He can't say that. It's proven that he knew how old she was. It's just so many things that people usually say or used to saying that he cannot say because it's just been debunked. He just can't say those things.
Are you choosing the path that would be your only option if you were guilty? Now, some seem to think that you're not obligated to speak up, and maybe that's what people around you are telling you as well. But from one creator to another, you absolutely have an obligation to, at the very least, call out the misogyny, the victim blaming, and all manner of cognitive dissonance that's coming from your audience in the name of defending you against allegations that you're too cowardly to address.
Absolutely.
And to be clear, this is cowardice, because you demonstrate it whenever there's controversy afoot. Tana's further claims make it sound like you're terrified.
I said something about it online and it was starting to surface, and he texted me like, are we good? And was like, I said yeah, and like he was like, my wedding's coming up.
You do have a history of making bad choices when you're terrified of people finding things out, like your history of using slurs.
5, nigga 6, nigga 7, nigga 8, nigga 9, nigga.
There's more clips than that, but the reason most people are blissfully unaware.
I just can't imagine, you know, it kind of makes me a little bit happy. It shouldn't, but it does. His image that he created, a golden boy, right, man or whatever, this good person, likable personality, is all just crumbling. And the stress that he's under now is caused by his action, and he's choosing to stay quiet.
Aware of them is because you posted your vague apology not on Twitter, not on YouTube, but on Patreon, despite acknowledging in your apology that the clips were surfacing on Twitter. This is one of many examples of your poor handling of controversy. Not many people know that you've already lost fans over an eerily similar topic. You used to frequently feature and promote your college friend Colby Leachman in your videos, until it came out that during your school days, Leachman's university put him on probation for, as a United States District Judge would later put it, the non-consensual videotaping of a sex act with another student, showing the video to other people, lying to the police about the video, and behaving horribly to that individual and at least one other woman. To make matters worse,
like I said, adding just another little puzzle to his character, right? So not only that he's done this situation that kind of shows what person he is, well, now we're adding into play his friends or the people that he's been hanging around with that has kind of sounds like similar morals or lack of them, just as he does. So what did I say? If I found out that one of my friends or family members had done this or was in the same situation, I will cut them out straight away. I don't care who you are. I have very strong morals. I have very strong beliefs that this is wrong. It is wrong in the eyes. It's wrong in the law. That side, it's wrong in every single situation. I am not going to be in contact with you. So that says a lot about him.
The woman in the video also alleged that Leachman drugged her before the recording and that she hadn't actually consented to anything at all. You had this man in your videos. You were telling us to follow him on Instagram, and at some point you did wise up, so he's no longer part of your content, but he still seems like he's very much a part of your friend group. From the continued hangout since then,
Wise up, or was this a smart business move to keep that good person, good character, you know? That's what you wanted to put out there online and to your subscribers. But it's all crumbling and it's all coming down now.
inviting him to your wedding just last year, people are under the impression that you're best friends with someone who, at best, committed an illegal sex act and at worst is an alleged rapist. And no matter how many times people rediscover this information over the years, you refuse to say anything at all. You could clarify this, but you won't. But now your cowardice has reached a new low. You've tried speaking and you've tried silence, and now you're choosing censorship. On your YouTube channel, where you've been pumping out content nearly every day now, I couldn't find a single comment on your last video about this situation. Not even one. Comparing that to the comment section on your Instagram, where every single comment I saw was about this, it's clear that you're heavily...
So Cody got a lot of hate, as you would expect, and negative comments on his Instagram. He got bombarded about the whole situation, people mentioning the situation, saying that they're gonna unfollow him, saying it's disgusting, blah blah blah. But on his YouTube, on the other hand, it was nothing. It was not a comment that actually addressed the situation, that people are asking him for any answers. So he clearly filters all his comments on YouTube to make sure that this doesn't cause even more controversy or it doesn't affect his channel.
Censoring your audience on YouTube. But surely you must have realized the limits by now, since people have just transferred the conversation over to your wife's channel. The fact that her comment section is overrun due to your decision to stay silent about this should be all the proof you need that that decision was wrong. At this point, your silence and censorship are a response with disturbing implications.
Absolutely.
The only thing that I've seen this hidden portion of your audience asking for is the truth. So why aren't you telling it? And your silence isn't the only one that's bothering me either.
All these Reddit threads, like if my name's on any thread, it's all getting deleted.
I witnessed the heavy-handed moderation of your subreddit in real time as I researched this video. I would refresh the page and posts would suddenly be unapproved by moderators after racking up hundreds of comments, removed because they could, quote, instigate drama, or more commonly just locked and or removed with no reason given whatsoever. I'm sure whoever is doing this thinks they're helping you, but you should probably tell them that they're making things look 10 times worse. But it's not just your moderators, it's your friends and fellow YouTubers too. It's no coincidence that with the exception of the H3 podcast, I haven't seen a single channel over 1 million subscribers do so much as acknowledge that this situation exists. And I'm not talking...
So yet again, we see someone with a massive platform with millions of followers who's kind of on a high horse and yet again getting away with the situation. None of the other massive channels have so far, until D'Angelo's video, have mentioned anything, have took a stand against it. Absolutely shocking, and we're so used to seeing this with actors, with singers, with other public figures, that they just always get away with it. But I hope that, in my opinion, that he should be deplatformed completely, and all the people that actually think or should acknowledge that this is wrong, they're just gonna unsubscribe, and the best thing you can do is just make him pay for what he's done, or the lack of disrespect for his subscribers, for him not sharing his truth or even acknowledging his subscribers and feeling that he should let them know, the people that made your channel, the people that made your name, and people that kind of pay your salary, you should kind of have some kind of respect towards them and kind of share your story or your truth at least.
Talking about channels that never would have discussed something like this either. I mean the same channels that were rightfully calling out people like Dr. Disrespect for texting a minor, which are the same channels that are now completely ignoring a scenario with an even bigger creator being accused of doing something much worse. You can't say it's because the allegations are unconfirmed, because the channels that I'm talking about discuss rumors all the time, and this video is all the proof you need that there's still plenty to discuss even without making definitive statements. The general public may not know about the situation, but I promise you, anyone who's online enough to run a YouTube channel does.
The amount of people in this industry who like want to protect him and are like talking to me in a way where it's like they, you know what I mean? Like, or even just friends like, but I love him.
The community's silence on this has been so staggering that people are now saying that commentary YouTube is a boys club, aka a male-dominated space that mistreats women while enabling and protecting men. And the truth is, Cody, whether you're guilty or not, you are being enabled to ignore this and protected from having to respond as an act of misogyny towards Tana Mojo. We both know that on our side of commentary YouTube, any man can easily elevate himself by dunking on misogynists in his content and espousing a generally feminist viewpoint. But if that viewpoint turns to silence the moment a situation is no longer cut and dry, then that viewpoint was a brand strategy, not a belief. The misogyny that we should be discussing is right here in the community, yet the only thing I'm hearing is a bitter, hollow silence, one that you have the power to end. I said it in the beginning, I said it in the middle, and I'll end with this. One person's testimony does not give me the right to accuse you of doing anything illegal, but I can point out the facts. It's a fact that you and Tana were around each other during the years she specified, as seen in your uncomfortable collab videos, which are still online. It's a fact that Gabby Hanna has made claims that seem to corroborate Tana's allegations against you. And it's a fact that you are suppressing your audience's knowledge of these allegations by censoring your YouTube comment section. These things may not prove Tana's allegation, but you better believe that they contextualize them in a way that you need to address. And you still have every right to address this, even now. If you have a side of the story that we're missing, then tell it. If I have my facts wrong, say something. Nobody should ever be denied the right to tell the truth, no matter what. I'm sure we can all agree that everyone should have the right to speak their truth, but that's exactly why I couldn't just sit here and watch the whole world tell Tana that it doesn't apply to her. Regardless of the truth of the situation, I'm just so disappointed either way. That is all. Goodbye, Cody.
Absolutely. Thank you so much to D'Angelo Wallace to making such an amazing video. And I believe if you are still subscribed to his channel, then you are just as bad. Because we people and subscribers, we hold the power to tell someone that they've done wrong. And if YouTube is not going to remove his channel, because of course it's not a legal matter at this point, then we as people have the power to unsubscribe and show the person that you've done wrong and we will not support you. We are the people who made his channel grow and made him this personality and gave him a platform that he should be so grateful for. So please unsubscribe and do not support this behavior or support people like him. Just like I said, look at his surroundings, look at his friend. Kind of in a similar situation. Of course, all comments in this video are my own opinion and nothing but you have to just look around and see. It's usually similar people hang out with similar people and similar morals and beliefs. So if he's supporting his friend through it, he's still best friends with him, then he's done this situation, it will never change. It's like a snowball effect. So we have to take a stand and make him see and I guess pay for what he's done, or at least he won't even tell his subscribers or have the audacity to kind of tell his people that are following him and that made him, so to say, what's actually happening. So please leave your comments down below and tell me, do you think he should still, does he have a right to have a channel? Should he still continue with his channel? And what do you think of people that are not unsubscribing and still are there liking him? Thank you so much for watching my video. Please like and subscribe, and like I said, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Mwah.